Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Collector's Edition Mr. Terrific. Not only that, but this is the Platinum Chase variant. This is the kind that has the black face paint versus the red face paint, and this is the one that I'm more familiar with. I prefer the Platinum version Mr. Terrific to the regular version. I won this from McFarlane's Toy Store EQL raffle. Still paid a little over $40 to get this guy, but happy to check him off my list. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Mr. Terrific, McFarlane Platinum Edition, McFarlane Collector's Edition. Here he is in the package. We have 3 different faces, a couple different T-spheres, one alternate hand, collector's card, display stand, and removable cloth soft goods jacket. One side of the package, McFarlane Collector's Edition, Mr. Terrific from JSA. This is the 27th figure in the Collector's Edition subline. At the bottom, there's his barcode, if that helps anybody. And at the back, here's Mr. Terrific from the comics. Of course, this is the red face version, which is the standard version. The platinum one is this one. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. We have display stand, collector's card, a bunch of different T-spheres, and then 3 different faces. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Mr. Terrific. He's basically terrific at everything. He's very intelligent, very athletic, all this sort of stuff. He's a scientist, has his own company. He made these things called T-spheres, and they can do pretty much anything the story needs them to do. Shoot lasers, hack phones, hack computers, make force fields, fly, whatever. Now the standard version of Mr. Terrific has the red face paint, and I believe it's from the New 52. This one has the black face paint and is the more traditional version, but there are some inaccuracies. He should have fair play down the sleeves of his jacket and on the back. I'm not shocked that it's not included, but it would have been a really nice touch. I believe he should also have some little red sort of tips on his fingers. That's not a big deal at all to me. I do prefer this one to the other one because this is how he looked for the majority of his time in the DC universe. It's not 100% accurate, but I appreciate that they made a variant that's at least closer to what I wanted. I think what I'll probably do is display this one with a jacket on, and then the New 52 one with the jacket off. That way there's some differences, and it's sort of accurate to the source material. Mr. Terrific also has a role in the upcoming Superman movie, and he's wearing an outfit pretty similar to the regular version, which is a little bit different than this, and we'll check him out in depth shortly. In the meantime, let's take a look at this guy. So, start with his face here. Face looks great. I like the face sculpt, I like the hair, I like the eyes. This is how Mr. Terrific should look, his traditional look, with the sort of T face paint in black on top of his face. Wide eyes. As we go further down, we have this cloth soft goods coat. Now, it looks a little bit bulky, but I actually think this coat is extremely good quality. If they made it really tight, it would hinder his articulation, but as it is, he can move pretty much anything you need him to do. It's a really nice feeling and looking coat. I'd say it's almost import quality. I'm just very, very pleased with this thing. Now, I do wish it said fair play down here, back here. Unfortunately, it doesn't, and he has it on his arms, which is accurate to the other version. But what can you do? It's done on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. You can see the prominent abs there. Pants are a little bit different. On the other guy, it's completely up and down, black and white. So they did a little bit more than just the face paint. And like I said, I appreciate that, although it's still not a traditional Mr. Terrific, at least not fully accurate. But I'm betting it might be a very long time before we see another comic Mr. Terrific figure. I'm sure we'll get one from the movie, but with these 2 versions, that's probably it for a while. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It's a really good, regular-looking Mr. Terrific. This is going to be the one that's part of my Justice League and Justice Society of America. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand we've seen countless times before. Only difference is this one has a silver DC at the bottom because it's part of the Collector's Edition. And then we have his collector's card, as you can see. It's an image of Mr. Terrific, but this is the other version. No jacket, red face. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now let's look at his faces. He has 3 of them, one with a regular expression, one getting a little bit angry, and then one screaming. Here's a look at his first face. This one has a normal expression. And here's his second face. This looks like he's just starting to get angry. And here's his third face. This one is screaming. And if you want to see how he looks with no face at all, here you go. He's got this weird tongue thing there. That way you can see it on his screaming face through his mouth. Now let's talk about his jacket. I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing. Sure, it's a little bit bulky, where sort of the armpit is. But if it was really tight, it would restrict his articulation. And the quality feels great. It's almost like leather jacket type material. The inside, it's kind of fuzzy. Looks good on the inside for the most part. But it looks really good on the outside. And I wish it said fair play on the sleeves and the back, but it doesn't. And that's because the original version, that wouldn't be appropriate with. But this one, it would be. Still, it's a very good quality soft goods piece of clothing. Here's Mr. Terrific with the jacket off. You can see on both his arms, he's got fair play tattooed on there. And then here he is with the jacket on. Now to look at his T-spheres. He comes with, I think, 4 of them. First of all, he has one alternate hand holding the T-sphere. You can see the sort of letter T on there. Then he has 2 of them, sort of floating in there. You can wrap them around his wrist. Both have T's on them. And we have one last one, which is sort of creating a shield in front of him. You can see the T-sphere in the middle, energy around it, and that just sort of clamps onto his wrist or hand. And since I got 2 of these figures, the regular and the platinum, I have 2 sets of the T-spheres. Let's see what I can do here. So here's a look at Mr. Terrific's balls. Here's Mr. Terrific cupping his balls. And it doesn't exactly look right, but at first glance you don't notice it. But if you use the same alternate left hand for both versions, you kind of have him holding 2 T-spheres. And like I said before, with having 2 versions of Mr. Terrific, you have a lot of different options with his accessories. Here's both sets of T-spheres surrounding his arms. And here's his T-sphere force field. And as you can see, right in the center is the T-sphere, and we have sort of an energy shield around. Here's Mr. Terrific protecting himself with the T-sphere shield. And just like the other accessories, he can utilize both these at the same time, having 2 shields at once. Now to check out the differences and similarities between this platinum version of Mr. Terrific and the standard release. And the main difference is going to be the fact that he has black face and the other one has red face. And you can see the costume has significant differences as well. The jackets appear to be exactly the same, although I wish it said fair play on the jacket. So, like I said, face is totally different. As you go further down, you can see the torso area. His is predominantly black and white, where his is predominantly white with black, but he also has a difference on the collar. And then the diaper area is pretty much the same. And the legs, he's completely split black and white down the middle, and his just has a little bit of white in the sort of the thigh area. Beyond that, they appear to be pretty much exactly the same. The collar is considerably different. Now, it's not completely accurate, but I still prefer the black face version to the red face version. Here are both these Mr. Terrific figures with their jackets on, but personally, I plan to display the platinum version with a jacket on, and the standard version with a jacket off. A lot of time he had the jacket off during the New 52, so it seems appropriate. He was always showing off those tattoos on his arms. Mr. Terrific here utilizes the Blue Beetle body. It debuted with the Blue Beetle Booster Gold 2-pack and has been used a lot since then. It's not a bad body. Things that bother me are the notable top 2 abs that are separated from the rest, the boot, sort of top sculpted line, and the wrists are a little bit awkward. Beyond that, it's a pretty nice generic base body, so let's take a look at the differences. Obviously, the heads are totally different. The torso looks to be the same. The diaper, at least the belt part, is different. The arms look to be the same. The legs look to be the same, even to that little sculpted boot part, which doesn't really represent much on Mr. Terrific. And then here are all the figures that utilize the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. Quite a few of them. In this photo, I'm missing the Platinum Mr. Terrific and the Platinum version of the Justice League Task Force Flash. I do have them now, so I'll have to update this picture in the next video. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 6.9 inches tall, which can translate to 17.5 centimeters, and for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, he can rotate side to side. He can look up and down a pretty good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got that butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion, and more importantly, covering the giant gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged. Ball joint his torso. Rotate around. Forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around. Forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in the torso area. Legs complete as splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is minimal. Legs go forward all the way. Back not much. He's got double jointed knees. And his ankle. Forward and back. Tilt, rock, rotation, and toe articulation. Here's a look at Mr. Terrific in an alleyway. T-spheres ready to go. And here's a look at the previous red-faced version in a similar type position. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with the other Mr. Terrific. Here are both versions of Mr. Terrific. I never had a Mr. Terrific figure before this recent one, and he was automatically my favorite because he was the first one I got, and now that I have the Platinum version, it has dethroned him as my favorite. Seeing as how Mr. Terrific is in the Superman movie, I'm sure we're going to get another figure of him based off that universe. So here's the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 1. Every single Collector's Edition figure has a Platinum Chase variant. Here are both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the first appearance Superman, the Abyss, and Alan Scott Green Lantern. And here's the second wave of Collector's Edition figures, both regular and Platinum versions of Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. Then, the third wave of Collector's Edition figures, we have the Death and Return of Superman, Captain Carrot, Batman as Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. Here's the fourth wave. This wave consisted of Penguin, Starfire, and Captain Boomerang. And here's the fifth wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Sergeant Rock, Connor Kent Superboy, and Manga Batman. Here's the sixth wave of Collector's Edition figures, both versions of the Red Hood, Clock King and Dr. Time, Ragman, and Agent Liberty. And finally, here's the seventh wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Dark Knight Returns Batman, Huntress, and some Green Lantern Corps members. We have Tomar Ray, Evan Sewer, Arcus Chumuk, and the Green Man. And then here, next to the eighth wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. Finally, I have this wave complete. Both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Lightning Lad, Seven Boss Green Lantern, Geoforce, Grid, Christopher Reeve Superman, and finally Mr. Terrific. It's been a long time coming, but I finally have this wave complete. This wave was unusually large. Usually it's just 3 figures, maybe an exclusive, but this one had 4 figures and 2 different exclusives. The next wave is going to consist of Power Girl, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and Captain Cold. Looking forward to those, and looking forward to finding out what the Platinums are going to be. And since this Cyborg Superman is a Platinum Chase variant, I wanted to take a look at all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants out there. Here are all the sort of older Platinum Chase variants. Gold, bronze, unpainted, and then some newer versions. And here's a look at the more recent Platinum releases. I believe everything in front of you came out in the 2024 calendar year. And as close as I am to having a complete Platinum collection, I'm still missing the Page Puncher Platinum Shazam and the Page Puncher animated Red Hood figure. Look for 2 of those. If anyone has a lead on where I'm able to get one, or could possibly help me out, please drop my line in comments below. It is much appreciated. They've released about as many figures in 2024, Platinum-wise, as they did in the 2020 through 2023 years. Now let's check him out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Target exclusive Wildcat and Orion, which I picked up today. And here he is, next to the recent Page Puncher wave, which I'm looking for the Platinum Shazam and Red Hood. Then, with the King Kong vs. Batman 3-pack. And now, next most recent Batman wave, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Noel Batman and the Silver Age Batman, the Platinum Batman vs. Spawn Batman, and all three versions of the Neo-Gothic Batman Beyond Batman. Here's Mr. Terrific, next to both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Justice League Task Force wave, collector-built Darkseid. This is the first time they did a collector-built of Platinum figure. And here he is, next to the Amazon exclusive Batman that came with the Batglider, and the GameStop exclusive Frostbite Nightwing, then with the Amazon exclusive Court of Owls 3-pack, and now with a couple of recent Mega figures, Zack Snyder's Justice League Darkseid, the one that came with the throne, and the Planet Ron Red Swamp Thing, and finally with a couple of McFarlane Toy Store exclusives, the Brayfogle Batman, and the black and white accent Blue Beetle. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines that I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale, and now with some Jack-specific and Diamond Select toys. Here's Mr. Terrific, next to a cookie, and here he is with some DC Direct and NECA figures, then with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool Mr. Terrific figure. The cloth softgoods jacket is excellent. The accessories, the different T-spheres are great, and especially if you get both versions, you have even more of them to work with. He used the Blue Beetle body, which I have some problems with, mainly the abs. Sometimes they're hard to stand, and the wrist can be a little bit awkward. But as a whole, I think it's an excellent figure, and I prefer the Platinum version to the regular one. I don't remember what I rated the regular one, but say I give it a 7.5. This guy deserves an 8. As a whole, kind of take a step back, this one probably deserves 7.5. I'm going to leave him at an 8. I really like the jacket. I like the face sculpt. I like the accessories. I like almost everything about him. He is not fully accurate to what he's supposed to be, but it's better than nothing at all, I guess. 7.5 it is. And I guess the regular version should get a 7 at that point. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to save the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.